Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to y'all. We hope it was another great week in your book of life. Thank you so much for coming to lock in with the Now That You Mention It podcast featuring Roll, Jay, and RJ.
I'm Roll.
I'm Jay.
And of course, I'm RJ. To any new listeners and watchers, we welcome you. We want to start off by saying thank you all for giving us some of your time. Before we get settled in, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, or Podbean, please follow, turn on notifications, and leave us a rating and review if you can. If you're dialed in visually via YouTube, please like, subscribe, and click the bell to get notified. All right, we don't need comments. We don't need comments from the peanut gallery, okay? And click the bell to get notified so that whenever our latest content drops, you can be one of the first to know. Go find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit by typing in the Now That You Mention It podcast and hitting that follow button. And if you just want to make it easier on yourself, go ahead and check out nowthatyoumentionit.org, where all of those links have been conveniently placed for you to click and visit that website. Also, check out our merch, which remind me of the page again, Uncle Jay.
It's at feedthebeastie.com.
Yeah,
or you can just click the merch on the button. Go visit our friends at 3 Dog Apparel.
Yeah, that's who it is. 3 Dog Apparel. Yeah.
Yeah, go get you some Now That You Mention It merch. And fill my pockets because I need more cryptocurrency.
Oh my gosh.
I need more Bitcoin.
You need this? Huh? This what
the
you're looking
Bitcoin?
for right there?
Is that what that is? A Bitcoin?
See, he's making a mistake by putting it on camera because now if anybody sees this, they're going to research him and try to steal that coin.
You jump him.
Yeah, but
all right, boys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Before we get too far in, this is a special episode for us because it is our 1-year anniversary. We wanted to bring in some of our past guests. So joining the mix with us tonight, first and foremost, longtime friend of the show, Stephanie Fuller. How are you doing, Stephanie?
Hey, Stephanie.
I'm doing great and getting better.
Good. We got our resident stockbroker, analyst, expert, crypto miner extraordinaire, our brother Rene. What's up, bro?
Good evening. How are y'all?
And then we got this dude. This is our
the wild card.
The wild card. That's a good one. Yeah,
the one that I got to make sure the FCC doesn't fine us for.
No kidding.
He's the one I got to keep my finger on the mute button for.
There you go, guys. But just so you know, I am streaming this live on my LinkedIn and Twitch channels. So you all, people are actually watching us live on Twitch and LinkedIn. So say what you want because I say fucking shit anyway. So they just know how to deal with it. I've trained them to be trained for you guys. So there we go. Just putting it out there. Starting off fast. Starting off already.
Wow.
Fastball right down the middle to start off.
Right? Exactly. Let's get it out of the way.
Okay. Dust them off a little bit, right?
Don't crowd the plate. Right, Gabriel? You're the most androgynous?
Yes, exactly. That's a great terminology to use, bro. So yeah, just brush them back a little bit off the plate. No, don't crowd the plate on the inside, and we'll be fine. We'll have a good game. So there we go.
If y'all start to see Stephanie's eyes glaze over, it's for a reason.
There you go.
Hey, did you get Stephanie to sign the disclaimer that any content that we actually put in here,
it is what it is.
That's okay. I can.
Yeah, there you
got the waiver there.
There you go, Stephanie.
There's the waiver. So just so you know too, I can also edit her out and just put I can put whatever I want there at any one point. So don't worry about this.
Or we can edit you out and leave her there.
Or you can edit me out. Or actually edit all three of you out and just put 3 of me in there. So
this is going to be a very free-flowing topic tonight because it is an anniversary for our podcast. And once again, we want to thank Stephanie, Renee, and Gabriel for joining us. You guys have been, kind of on various episodes with us, and so you guys are like our extended Now That You Mention It family. What I wanted to talk about tonight is because, we look at, there you go, atta girl Stephanie, check is in the mail. Jay, I don't want to hear none of this. If Stephanie tells me you welched on paying her, I'm coming for you.
Well, Jay's the type of person to blame the post office for the.
Yeah, he sure will. Yeah,
for the check getting lost.
Well, see what happened. What happened was I invested so much in crypto, I can't afford stamps anymore. So.
Oh my God.
You gotta find them first.
So anyway, what I wanted to ask everybody tonight on the panel is, this whole year, and we've given previously before an explanation, kind of what got us into the podcast to begin with was originally it was going to be the four of us, meaning Jay, me, Gabriel, and Rene, plus a couple of our other brothers, just doing a very kind of funny, very loose, just talk about anything in general. With everybody having schedule conflicts and stuff like that, it just never seemed to work out. So Jay and I decided to, we had the time that we could do it, and we jumped on, and here we are a year later. Now, part of that was precipitated by the fact that COVID hit, right? And all of a sudden, for us at least, we found ourselves with a lot of time, and B, we're bored out of our skulls, since we weren't all working at the office anymore. And that's kind of how we really not forced us, but allowed us to get into this fun kind of hobby, whatever you want to call it. But in the year since, what I wanted to ask everybody is one of the questions I thought about was, what were you doing a year ago that since COVID you no longer do? Or you could also answer that since COVID, and what changes you have made in your lifestyle and daily routine that you think you're going to continue to do, at least for the foreseeable future, as we try to find out what that the new buzzword new normal really is, right?
Yeah, so let's start off with our guest, and let's start off with Stephanie there, because I see the wheels in her head are turning there.
Sure. A year ago, I was a part-time pre-K teacher, and my school shut down and has not reopened.
Oh wow! Even today, so they still haven't really gone back.
No, they're considering opening for the summer. Okay. And I got a message last week if I wanted to teach, and I said that I would substitute.
Yeah.
My daughter's home from college, and my kids are really close to leaving the nest, and I just want to enjoy them a little bit more. Thankfully, our household is not dependent on that part-time income. So,
sure. So let me ask you this, because as of right now, RJ and I are the only ones on the show that don't have kids. So what was it like for you guys? Because I know, Roland, your daughter's preteen. Gabriel, you have a couple of daughters and a son that are all in school. Rene, you got one young kid, and your oldest son is in school. What were the challenges like? I mean, have your kids returned to school, or are you guys back to, are you still doing distance learning, or what's the deal with that?
Well, I'll jump in first. Well, as you said, my middle son was at University of Texas in San Antonio on campus. When the pandemic really the school decided to shut down, he came back home and never went back. And he's getting ready to graduate. He'll graduate here in a few weeks. And but he finished basically this last year in the semester plus from home, doing everything remotely online. As far as my daughter, same thing. I mean, when they shut down the school, we did everything online. We're very blessed. I mean, we have reliable internet. We have, plenty of computers and the technology. And with my life, with what I do for a living, I didn't have to go to the office or anything like that. So I was here. So really, it was a bit of an adjustment because, I had to make sure she was getting up on time. I mean, you do that anyway, but making sure she was logging into class on time, getting her assignments done, because with the autonomy that came with being at home, it was very easy for these kids to fall into bad habits. And that's the one thing you had to kind of keep them true. But outside of that, it really didn't impact. Now she is back in school. We started her back this semester, but and so far very few incidents at the school, so relatively easy on that part. Gabriel?
Well, for me, I was a little bit different. Mine was all my kids actually went to virtual, which was hard because they got 4 different schedules, 4 different classes, the whole 9 yards. It was a lot that my ex went through to kind of figure all that out. And for me at the time, it was my job was still considered essential, so I didn't go like hey, I was working from home all of a sudden. So like as far as me like changing so much of what my life was, it wasn't too much of a shift because I was still going out in the workplace. It was more of a shift at home than it was for what I was as far as like my job and everything else. So it was quite a change. It was a lot to take on. And, more than anything, it was a struggle for kids to kind of adjust. To go, because again, you have different type of students learning different types of ways. Some students do better, which one of my daughters actually does better in class learning and being there with a teacher and getting some works better for them. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Just asking. Oh, okay,
we're just
okay.
captivated by your talk.
Yeah.
That we're all like
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all right. My peeps can't hear me, but that's okay. They can hear the apparently they can hear you guys. They just can't hear me. Okay, either way. So, but the whole thing was, like I was saying, is the fact that that was a change for them, and it was very hard. And they had to figure out how they're gonna learn and how to adjust. So yeah, it's been quite the adjustment. They're now. So it's changing for them, but it was quite the shift whenever all this went down.
Yeah. So what about you, Rene?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, there's a complete paradigm shift a year ago because we were Marcelo, who lives in a different household. When the pandemic started, he went to learning from home, and he was doing really well. I think the school did a really good transition there. But we had a nanny for Nathaniel prior to the pandemic, and when the pandemic broke out, she had a 2-year-old that was maybe about 3 months older than Nathaniel. And I remember that they had just came back from a vacation. They're giving her time off and then come back from vacation. And she started talking about her 2-year-old was showing symptoms of a flu. And of course, we were immediately like, okay, well, you stay home. Don't come in. Don't monitor yourself. Ultimately, that turned into us letting her go, which I think she felt more comfortable doing that, and we felt comfortable doing that. So then that became a big, massive paradigm shift for us, because now we had to balance watching a 2-year-old and also work full time. Both of us work full time.
Yeah, and that's another big thing. You talk about, bro, about a paradigm shift. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies now, and my company included, had to send people to work from home because of the fact that they didn't want people coming in the office. And now that after a year of a lot of these employees working from home, they don't want to go back to the office. That seems to be the overwhelming consensus for people.
I'm not sure about everyone.
Yeah, everybody,
fellow
because
family,
a lot of companies are figuring out are seeing that. I think productivity actually went up with people working at home. And then there's people that are like, look, I've been out of the office for a year. I don't want to go back to working back in the office, having to dress up every day because they're comfortable in their sweatpants and, whatever else.
I have two stories on that. One was from Google, and Google said that they were already doing something very similar to people working from home anyway, and they were seeing success. Then there was another story from Bank of America and Chase, and they were having problems with people being non-productive at home, not meeting deadlines, and not meeting, getting to meetings. And we have that in our organization too. We primarily work from home, but even today, we still get emails of, hey, you need to be dressing appropriately. Hey, you need to be, even when you're at home, because if you're in a meeting and you're on
Zoom or
chat, they don't want to see you in your pajamas. Okay. And so you do get at least those type of, they call them corrections, but it's more of a, hey, we can't be doing this. And you do fight through the occasional screaming in the background. I know we get it a lot. I think a lot of my coworkers and Bernadette coworkers understand that. And when I hear it, I'm also like, yeah, I get it.
So Stephanie, I got to imagine that because your kids are older, I got to imagine they were ready to go back to school or get back out into, social
society.
functions.
Well, what I learned is with my 4 kids, 4 very different experiences. And one of my kids in particular really missed the social aspect of school, but he didn't have a choice to return.
Right.
And it's just been very different for all of them. Some of them are asynchronous, some of them are synchronous, connectivity issues with all. My daughter was able to go back to college, and half the students at her university are athletes, so they had to be there, and it felt, I think, very similar to last year. My son's girlfriend is a first semester student at UT, and I went and visited her there with my son, and I asked some of the students there how many are here, and they have only about 25%. So that's a very different college experience for her than for the students in the past.
Yeah, especially such a big school like UT. It's crazy because when we got to the point where our governor decided to, hey, we're gonna ease back on some of the restrictions. I remember the point where we went to 25% capacity at restaurants, and how crazy it was to see some of the lines at some of the restaurants for people who actually wanted to go out to eat. You talk about that social aspect. That's a big one. I think, prior to the pandemic, that's one thing that we did a lot. We ate out a lot. My wife and I, it was eating out was a big player for us because we both work hard. It's very difficult to have to, come home after 8-10 hours of work and wanting to cook. So, hey, let's just go grab something to eat. And that became such an everyday part of life that once we got to the point where we couldn't go out to eat anymore, a lot of people didn't know what to do. Like,
I just gotta say, I'm being on my best behavior right now. I really am. Jay, you said keywords. There's keywords that really set me off. So I'm biting my tongue, but good conversation, bro. Keep going. I just wanted to say that.
Well, what are some of the things that are triggering you there?
I don't want to say it. I can't.
All right. He's exercising very good decision making.
Right
Don't
now.
lead them down the path. Why are you trying to give them the bait?
Because if he were exercising good decision making, he wouldn't have that rainbow warp speed around his.
Move on.
But yeah, at any rate, I never had the luxury of being able to work from home. I work in the service industry, financial industry, so we had to continue to work through the pandemic. And I remember, it was hard for me because when you talk about, especially at the very beginning, not knowing, like you said in, backstage, Stephanie, where we had no idea what COVID was at the very beginning. We had no idea what it was capable of. We had no idea what was going on. You talked about, going to the grocery store in your husband's overalls and goggles and one mask with the double respirator and all that stuff. We were just going by the guidelines of what the CDC was saying, and they're saying it can be transmitted by touch, that it can linger on surfaces for up to 4 days. So we had customers that would still come into the office. Now, granted, we were taking whatever precautions we could, wearing masks, cleaning after every single person. Like, we were letting people in one at a time. And not just cleaning the area where that one person would sit, cleaning the entire office after every customer walked in. I mean, it got to the point where I had breathed in so much sanitizer and cleanser into my lungs. I don't think I could have got COVID if I tried. But it was a big shift for me because it made us look at, okay, so what are we really doing with our lives in terms of, you talked about being a germaphobe. How many people are actually germaphobes? Because I know people personally that would not leave their house. And so the effect of what it did to a lot of those people it's mind boggling.
Well, I know the first few weeks, whenever I did have to go out, I not only wore the mask, but I also wore gloves, and my hands became so dry from all the sanitizer that, and then I don't know if any of you guys ever saw this, but someone created these, and I think they existed before, but they became kind of a very, very quick fad item. Was they made these hooks that you could slip between your fingers.
They're all on clearance now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just but we kind of laugh about it now, but it's also the same thing like with masks. I asked you early, Stephanie, how many of us actually had, really masks? I mean, I had a couple because of, yard work and stuff. My wife gets allergies, so I had a small box of N95 masks sitting in the garage. But certainly, once masks became more and more, everybody had the little blue surgical ones that you bought, the disposable ones. But then after a while, it kind of spurred a new cottage industry for people making all these customized masks, right? And so, they started coming out with logos and, different designs, the ones that had the little tighteners that fit on your ears. And, I don't know about you guys, but I promise we got about 100 masks now in this house somewhere, all in, stuffed in cars, stuffed in briefcases, stuffed in different parts of the house. I got probably a couple in my office at work, just because now you've gotten used to carrying masks. So, kudos
when
to
all you really had to do was just buy a bandana. We would have known.
Oh my God.
Would have been like the one the gang members are right. We were behind them. We didn't follow their lead. So the Bloods, the Crips, all the guys that were putting their flags back in the back pocket, they were COVID ready. We were not COVID ready. So
I'm sure that's why they had the bandanas.
We have to remember that. That those guys, we got to give kudos to them. Kudos to all the first line workers as well. All those people that did all that work. They rock. They're still rocking it. Rock it to the UPS guys, the FedEx guys, the Amazon Prime drivers, because without them, a lot of those lonely nights wouldn't have been as easy to get past. So yeah, man. If you've never had a Amazon delivery of a fleshlight,
Where are you
Bamo.
going?
Oh my God.
It is amazing in so many ways. But yes, next time you see your Amazon Prime driver,
You were doing
slip him
so good, and then all of a sudden, it's just like you see a deer
It's
on the side of the road, and you
It's
feel
out
like
there in
you have to
left field,
just
guys.
automatically drive into it.
Your topic is way out in
Yeah.
left field, bro.
Yeah.
It is.
So,
Yeah, I know.
Stephanie, I know that you had an experience, a COVID experience. So why don't you tell us about that?
Well, my daughter came home from college. She had a game and she didn't feel well a few days later. And then my boys started not feeling well. Turned out we all were positive. All but one of us were positive for COVID at the end of December, beginning of January. We all had very light cases. I kicked it to the curb in 2 days. The only reason why I even knew it was COVID because I had the telltale loss of taste and smell. And my husband and my kids, they all tested positive. But the challenge was getting them back to what they needed to do. My oldest son, he was 10 days post COVID and his work wouldn't take him back. Judge Clay Jenkins ordered that you didn't have to have a negative COVID test to return to work. And he kept testing positive, but his employer wouldn't let him back to work. And then my daughter went back to playing basketball without too much trouble. She had to sit out a certain amount of time, and then she had to gradually get back, but she wasn't required to have a negative COVID test or a physical. But my middle son was getting ready for the district swim meet, and in order to get to regionals, you have to swim districts, and he's a senior, and we were running out of time. His pediatrician wouldn't see him without a negative COVID test, and you can test positive for COVID for up to 3 months after you have it. And we had to doctor shop. We found a doctor that said, yes, I understand this. Yes, I can give him return to work. And he was a return to swim because he was able to return back to school, but he couldn't get back to athletics. And then he had to gradually get back to athletics. And the exciting thing was he made it just in time for districts, and he placed in both of his events in districts, and he got to regionals. But again, we have five of us who were COVID positive, and we had 5 different. Well, I wasn't working at the time, but 4 different experiences about returning to work.
Now you said you had the one son that didn't test positive,
Wow.
right?
My 11-year-old was quarantined in the game room, and he was never sick. And then after everything was said and done, we had him tested for antibodies, and he did not test positive. And speaking of the antibodies test, this was really interesting. When I was deciding on whether or not I should get a vaccine, I was 3 months out from having COVID, and I totally expected to test positive for the antibodies, and I tested negative. So I had to decide, do I want to go ahead? Now, I don't believe that means that meant that I didn't have any natural antibodies. I believe it meant that I didn't have enough to trigger the test, because my husband took the same test a week later and he tested positive for antibodies. So he's not in the process of getting the vaccine, but I am. And I had a reaction to the first test. I mean, to the first shot.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to figure out if I should continue, because I really don't know. I did not I got a huge swelling. This is maybe TMI, and y'all probably don't. Maybe you can edit it out.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
But it's juicy. But I don't know if you want to use it. Okay, I swelled up under my arm about the size of a softball.
Wow.
Ooh.
And supposedly, if you've had COVID, you're supposed to have a stronger reaction to the shot, and you can have a strong. I've talked to so many people, and I've read so many different things. I cannot figure out a pattern for how people react or don't react.
First of all,
I'm still swollen.
Bill Gates is not going to be happy about what you're saying here.
Edit it out. I don't care.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
So let me ask you. I know that
Bill Gates got other problems, bro.
Yeah. He's focused on other things
Right.
now.
How to split.
He does have
He's gonna have to figure out how to
Billions.
split those billions.
Yeah, he's got to learn how to split all that.
Yeah, no
Split all
prenup. That was.
So
So
ask Bezos.
I know
Ask
that-
Bezos how that works out.
His wife's the second
hey,
richest person.
Bezos ain't hurting. First of all, Bezos
No, he's
ain't
not.
hurting.
No,
And
he's not
Bill
hurt.
Gates ain't going to hurt. So I
No,
mean,
he's not going to hurt either.
no,
Yeah.
he's not going to hurt.
But I know
course
that
not.
I went and got the vaccines. I know RJ has, Roland has. Gabriel, have you been vaccinated?
No, because no doctors will see him.
He's got,
Well,
he
there's
got
no-
to
when I
get
go,
those
okay,
STDs first.
hold on. When I
Damn.
go in and I tell the doctor,
So here comes Rene. Rene comes out in left
I-
field with a bam.
wait. Here goes. I tell the doctor, listen,
Just like old Josh.
I want to take the COVID shot
Joshy
I wanna
Hamilton,
get it-
baby.
the old school way, right in the butt cheek.
Oh my
So,
god!
I told
I
the doc,
knew he was
I was like,
gonna say
listen.
that.
And then I go in there, I drop trowel, I go commando, and the doctor's like, "What are you doing?"
It's
And
like, you got flakes.
I want
You
the
got
J. I
dandruff
told
on
him-
your butt.
Exactly, right. I told him I want the Johnson and Johnson on the back end.
Okay.
I want the
let's-
one
Bro.
single shot
Bro,
and get
bro.
it done.
Where I
Yeah.
should have had mine. I have a flat butt. It might have improved things.
I'm like, oh, there you go.
Our show,
You guys are
show
starting to
was
rub
doing-
off on her.
our show was doing like this, and all of a sudden we just kind of went.
Well, you did preface
It's like a-
at the beginning of the show when you said this was going to be a open topic sort of deal. Where it's going to go
Renee,
just
have you
about
had the
anywhere.
Oh, yeah, I've had both. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
So okay, I'm Team Pfizer. Who got what? RJ, you got Pfizer?
I'm Pfizer. Yeah.
I'm supposed to get my second one on Saturday, and I'm scared out of my mind.
Oh wow.
Roland,
well, hopefully-
what'd you get? Roland, shot of tequila doesn't count.
Well, I was gonna say I got a shot of Jose Cuervo, then I got a shot of Herradura, then I got Pfizer on this arm, I got Moderna on this arm, and then no, actually I got the Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Yeah.
Renee,
I
what'd
got
you
all
get?
5 actually.
Well, I went to Fair Park, and I saw the line, and I was like, "No, man, there's got to be a different way here." And so I saw this dude on the side of the road, and he was holding up a sign and said, "Hey, I'll give you a shot." I don't know.
All right.
Your
Hello.
guess is as good as
I
mine.
said, "Hey, man, can you sign off
All right.
on this?
Was he
this
pulling
would
needles
work,
out of a
homie.
red container?
Can you sign off on this?" And he said, "Yeah." So hey, I feel
Well,
good.
I had
His
an
name was
idea
Dr.
though.
Love, and there's something rude about
Okay.
that.
Hey, man,
I had
I
an
don't want
idea.
to win that line.
I had an idea, but
Go
you
to that
can't.
line? Yeah. It's a long ass line. So I decided to go with the guy in the corner.
Okay, I had an idea, but I was like, you know what? I can't.
No, it's the
say
Madeira.
this here.
Madeira.
So
He was supporting
I'm
small
gonna
business.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you what
There
it
you go.
was. I'm gonna tell you what
He was
my
he was a
idea
corner-
was
he
about
was a
getting the
corner
COVID
pharmacist.
shot. But I'm
Okay.
gonna mute myself while I do it. Okay, so
What?
You're gonna mute yourself while you do it.
yeah, because Stephanie's here
Are we
and
Playing charades.
I'm trying to be nice. But I'm gonna let you try to read my lips, and figure out
Oh
what
my
I'm telling
God.
you. So here it
Oh
goes.
my God.
You could put him in the back if you want.
Yeah.
He's,
So the truth
he's
is,
saying
what
he's
he's really saying,
I'm openly gay. I put it in the hole every night.
Out of the closet.
Pick my nose and eat my boogers.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what I told the doc, and he said he couldn't do it.
oh, you told the doc that?
I told the
okay.
doc that. So
Hey, there's
I
no
couldn't-
problem with that, man. There's no problem at all.
So,
I'm,
you know,
hey,
It's
there's no shame in my
2021.
To kind
game.
of
It is 2021.
It is 2021.
back on course, because I feel like this is going the way of the Suez Canal here.
Suez Canal.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, Roger Wakefield's here. You don't know who Roger Wakefield is? Roger Wakefield.
No,
He's
so let
huge
me ask you guys
YouTuber,
this
plumber.
question, seriously.
Oh,
What,
see.
what is something that you started doing?
See the
during
Abe Froyman of Chicago sells a lot of beef. Something.
Oh, the Sausage King.
The
Sausage King of Chicago.
The Sausage King of Chicago. No, it's not.
Abe Froyman.
The now that you mentioned in podcasts where you hear Ferris Bueller,
yeah,
soft porn,
yes,
and sports and movies.
So, what is something
all of it seems to make sense
during the pandemic that you think you will continue to do, even if things go back to normal?
Say again.
Well,
something that you started doing during the pandemic that you think you will continue to do that maybe you weren't doing before. That
I'll tell you.
Even
yell at my kids.
Oh my god.
Yell at my kids.
Boy, you did that no matter what. What are you talking about?
No,
you don't need no damn pandemic for that.
As all could get
I know,
out.
that's right.
On any given Friday night after you had 2 or 3 margaritas, I guarantee you Marcelo was used to hearing the volume decibels go up about 5 levels. Anyway, to get back to the question, I think ordering groceries online is probably something we're going to continue to do. We never did that. We would order some things through Amazon, but not really groceries. I mean, most of the time we'd go to the grocery store, but I think just the convenience of it all, right? Because I mean, not everybody likes going to the grocery store, and not even using COVID as a reason not to, but it's just so much, I guess, convenience in having it delivered to your door, and then really only making a grocery store run to get the few things that you don't trust coming through delivery. Like, all your prepackaged stuff is fine, fresh produce and stuff. Yeah. But I don't think we'll ever stop that again. I mean, I think that'll be a normal part of our routine going forward.
I think drinking more is probably what I'll.
He said that you didn't do before.
Yeah, you were already on that trend.
Before the pandemic, I was only drinking 2.
Now you're up to 4.
Yeah.
Well, and I think honestly for me,
that's a good thing, bro. You're building up tolerance. That's finding silver linings in these things. So when you're talking about silver linings, it's like, look, I'm looking for the things that will help me more than anything, and that's where I'm just like, you know what, I can tolerate more now. So there you go. You got to look for these things, and you got to think, I'm a better person now because I can tolerate more. So instead of killing off half a bottle of wine, you finish the job, you do the whole bottle. You call it a night, right?
Tolerating is not going to do you any good if you're passed out on the couch.
Oh, I don't know what to really say, because we were already ordering groceries before the pandemic. We were already doing a lot of those things. It wasn't like we didn't change much other than
but I think the biggest change in your life was going to working from home, right? You don't have.
I was already working from home even before the pandemic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bernadette was going into now that was a big change for her, but for me, I was already working from home even before the pandemic. That was nothing new to me.
I think the biggest thing for me is having my eyes opened about the way companies treat their employees, and it made me go, start going onto this path, with a nudge from my wife of, hey, what are we going to do to get out of the situation of having a company control my life and tell me, hey, by the way, I know there's a pandemic and we don't know what's going on, and you may die, you may not die, but we still need you to come into work every day, right? To get onto a path where I can say, you know what, I don't feel like I need to be there, so I'm not going to. So working on doing something to better myself, working on getting mortgage lender's license so I can work for myself, doing other things to where I can work.
Other one from you is commitment, bro.
Well, and then, not only that, being able to do this, because I would have never done this.
Is that your fleshlight?
Pre-pandemic is, this podcast. This was something that was born out of the pandemic, and the fact that, yes, we heard you. I'm trying to fight.
Where did it go? Oh, I see it. Never mind.
God.
So say RJ.
Went down.
RJ, tell me how your experience was working for your boss.
Well, according to the U.S. government, I'm self-employed, so. No, I mean, obviously, our industry was very much affected. Right before the pandemic hit, we were very busy, and then things just kind of really got slow. And there were days we were at the house, just kind of like,
okay,
what do we work on?
Man, let's start day trading. Oh my god!
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that is what happened.
How did it affect your wedding? Did you have to postpone or make it smaller?
I wouldn't say it really affected my wedding too much. I did have to make it smaller than I think we would have, ideally liked, because it was really just parents, siblings, and grandparents. I grew up.
It affected your marriage greatly because you went from having, what was potentially about 200 Mexicans in one spot to having roughly only about 20. That's a big effect, dude.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a big change.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind though, like it was our civil wedding. Like the church wedding we were planning is when we were planning to have everybody, but obviously probably would have liked to have, my aunts and uncles there at least.
Well, I was there. I was watching on Twitch. So
believe me, it was
yes,
better for
I know.
me.
I saw the comments after the fact,
and I was dropping bits and
it was better for me that they didn't come. Less work.
Wait a minute. That would have been. Well, of course, that would have been less
I think
work.
the bigger challenge rather than COVID was the weather on the day of our wedding.
Well, it would have been better too because that less alcohol that was being consumed. So, like your Uncle Rene, who had built up his tolerance now, would have drank more alcohol at your wedding. So
hold on. You're right if we assume that the same amount of alcohol would have been present, but knowing my family, there would have probably been double the amount of alcohol that was there. So,
everybody brings a case of beer. That's the way that works.
I think we would, if anything, we would have had to have someone collecting keys. Had to have double the food.
Way too long. We know to bring our own.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
What about you, Stephanie? Was there anything?
Nothing exciting. I'm going to use less paper products.
Let's use less paper products and watch more movies.
But let's say, Stephanie, because obviously because of this, we got to meet you when we decided to do our movie challenge, right? And so we know you're a movie fanatic, right? So you're obviously you love cinema, but did having the pandemic really give you more time to focus on? I mean, I know you were probably watching a ton of movies anyway. I know for us, it was because it was not something that we because we actually did movie reviews, right? And we kind of put ourselves out of our comfort zone and saw a few films that I might not have otherwise seen, uncut gems. Anyway, but
Runaway Bride.
Huh?
Runaway Bride.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
The Notebook.
Xanadu.
The Notebook. I know he would have never seen The Notebook.
We can't.
If it was not for the.
I would have never ever watched The Notebook had it not been for the movie.
Don't be lying. You watched Brokeback Mountain.
I would have reviewed it. I would have reviewed it too. I would have been like, you know what, this is a great movie. Just because it was one of those things about cowboys, right? It's cowboys and mountains and it's amazing, right? You got to work. You got to work past all the minutia.
So what if it's two guys? So what?
So what if it is two guys?
Oh my god!
You know what would have been better? Two cowgirls.
Oh my god! Lord. See, Stephanie, you see what we would have had to put up with? I mean,
that would have been an even more awesome movie. Awesome.
It would have been amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I know that we all had to.
No, I would have watched it.
Up our TV game during the pandemic because there were no movies coming out in the theater. No, there was nothing else. So what, I guess this is kind of an off question, but what's the best thing you saw during the pandemic? TV or movie? Show?
Tiger King. The Tiger
Oh,
King.
God.
Tiger King.
That was Tiger King was a phenomenon.
No, it was. I'm not kidding, man. I mean, it was actually captivating TV or whatever it was, a miniseries or whatever.
TV.
Because
I mean, the Mandalorian was. I mean, everybody was talking about that, right?
yeah,
Mandalorian was good, actually.
That was very good.
yeah, but I mean, like I've never really been a fan of reality series or quasi-reality series or whatever you want, because I always feel like it was very forced. A lot of it's fake. I think a lot of the drama is manufactured specifically for TV. But I genuinely enjoyed Tiger King, even though it was like, why? Because it was the proverbial train wreck. I mean, you saw the train coming off the track, and you could not look away.
And the biggest takeaway from that was the fact that you can buy a tiger for $3,000.
The Crown was a really good show too. I mean,
which one?
The Crown. He said The Crown.
Yeah, The Crown.
That's a great show, man. I love that show.
There's so many you just can't get to them all. Like, I haven't seen Tiger King, and I haven't seen The Crown, but I've seen a lot of stuff that I know y'all probably haven't seen. And I watch, some of my guilty pleasures are Married at First Sight, 90 Day Fiance.
Okay. So you know what? I'm glad you brought up that show, because my wife loved that show. Right now, they're into new series, new parts of it, but she's not.
Yeah, you didn't want to tell the truth that it was him that loved it.
Hold on. I did. I got wrapped up in.
He was like, "Oh, I accidentally clicked on it. Oh, we should check it out, though."
Reroll my eyes right quick.
I'm not afraid to admit it that one of the ones that got me was Grey's Anatomy. I would have never. I was not a Grey's Anatomy person.
Doc Hot, or what is his name?
Who?
McDreamy.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know too, because he's on it too, so he can't even laugh over there. But you're right. They're good. 90 Day Fiance. I want to do. I told my wife and my sister-in-laws and my sisters, whoever wanted to come on, I would do on 90 Day Fiance a podcast. Review of some of those, because there's some characters on there, man. If you guys don't know about No Neck Ed, y'all need to go check him out, man. That's like the most cringe-worthy. You think some of the things Gabriel says is crazy? Just watching him, this little short, 4'11", 380-pound, greasy Italian dude.
But that's not what's pathetic. It's his behavior.
Yeah, trying to hook up with some, where was she, like Vietnamese chick?
Telling her she has bad breath, and she
yeah, but he's just being honest, and he's trying to be vulnerable, open himself up. He wants to.
He's telling her that she has bad breath on national TV, international TV.
Well, he's like telling her, listen,
and needs to shave her legs.
Hey, he just watches that show quite frequently.
I mean, you're telling them up front. You're just being honest. You're telling them up front. You're sitting there just telling them in all honesty.
In front of the whole world.
Like, listen, sweetheart. I love you. I really want to get to know you. Just go ahead and hit the nair a little bit on them legs. Knock that out.
This is the
There's this one girl on there. I think her name is
start this relationship on a good foundation. I just want you to know.
That's all right. Let's unpack this. I want to open up myself to you and show you my world.
How about we don't?
Yeah.
And we
you can save that for your show.
The one I'm watching right now. Has anybody seen Vikings?
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
I'm on the last season of Vikings. It has taken, we watch 2-3 episodes a night, and it's taken us like a month.
Wow.
That's what I mean, that there's just so much out there that you cannot get to it all. I try to keep up. In my movie group, I try to keep up with the movies that I haven't seen, and I can't do it. And I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Well, I'm still waiting for the list here.
I'm gonna keep it secret.
The infamous list here that Stephanie has, her 500 movies that she makes her kids watch.
Holy mackerel.
All the Indiana Jones movies. Got to watch all those.
Okay, here's some of them. Like, I want all of them to watch the beginning of every series, like The Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, Resident Evil. Watch the first one, Scream, Underworld. Watch the first one in each of the series. Terminator. Well, Terminator. I got to watch the first two on that one, and then some of the more famous films, and then like The Godfather, The Departed, Platoon,
Twilight.
Oscar winners.
Dude, Where's My Car? All those. Great one. Great.
Clerks 3.
I usually go
Pineapple Express
to watch a comedy, but I really liked Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, really?
Which one is that one? Where do you stand on Napoleon Dynamite? Because these guys think that's like the greatest thing ever.
Oh, that's right, Stephanie.
That's
right.
Yes, thank you.
You shut your mouth.
I don't
Vote for Pedro. Vote for Pedro.
I think Napoleon Dynamite is the most overrated.
I you this delicious bass.
You love that one, and you love Nacho Libre. Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite. Those are stellar.
Either one of
That
those
dancing is
pieces
my
of
second favorite
pieces of art.
dancing.
Yeah.
Hey,
Jared
I love
has,
Smithsonian.
I love the scene. I love the scene when Napoleon's calling home, trying to get Chip or Kip to bring him his chapstick, right? The chapstick, and you see Kip. He's grating the cheese to make his nachos, and the cheese is like piled up like 6 inches on top of the plate, right?
And then later on, it plays into the movie when Napoleon gets home. He's like, "Chip ate all the cheese. Chip ate all the cheese."
Here we go.
You know.
How is that funny though? I don't know, man.
Dude, how's it not funny?
I don't
Here we go.
get Dynamite. I don't get Nacho Libre. I just neither one of them to me were.
Okay, well,
Honey,
we're not about to sit here and let
Nacho
a guy who picked Xanadu and doesn't eat seafood tell me about what's funny.
If you don't find that line, I've had diarrhea since Easter's. Funny, man. That's funny.
I'm here live. What the
Tina, you
hell?
fat lard.
Put myself out of this.
I go around the house saying that all
That's
the
full
time.
screen.
I've had diarrhea since
Yes, you
Easter.
Can you hear them though? Probably
Thank you for
not.
sharing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
So they're talking.
He's on a detox.
I'm talking. They
That's
can't
what it
hear me
is.
though.
Yeah, it's a cleanse.
We can hear you. What the hell are you doing?
So let's see.
Are you doing ASMR? He sounds like he's doing ASMR or something.
Like he's doing a public service announcement for his
listeners.
He's doing a PBS commercial.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in
I'm
to
in this stream.
WKRP.
I can't hear them, but oh well.
In the arms of
this
an
sucks.
angel.
You know
So
what?
are you poking
what?
fun at the fact that there's hungry children
Because
in
I'm
the
using
world?
two mics. Hold on.
Was that supposed to be funny?
Well, yeah, because
Well,
I
I'm
want
gonna tie into this here.
So that's funny to you, but not Napoleon Dynamite.
I think the other thing that I want to point out is, I don't know what it is by Gabriel's camera or whatever, but he looks like Taliban with his beard because it's like
okay.
so
It
straight
looks like
right
it's
here on
super
the
long.
side.
Isn't it? Like
Huh?
It looks like it's going into
That's a result of him hanging out with Philip too much.
As soon as you hit your audio stopped. Oh crap.
Dude, who the hell are you
I
talking
don't know
to?
what he's doing, man.
So
You're gonna have a lot of editing.
yeah. Apparently because
No
I got,
editing. We're posting this one as is.
There you go. So you guys are actually getting I'm getting live, and what's happening is so I have you guys on in a share screen in another StreamYard tab.
Okay.
So you guys are actually streaming live. Everybody can hear you guys during the audio part, but they can't hear me because one of my StreamYards is using the audio from this. So the other StreamYard is actually you taking up my audio.
Oh, hey, so Gabriel's listeners, just so y'all know, We're the funnier podcast, so you need to come over here. Now that you mentioned it, podcast.
That's apparent because they've had a blast all night because they've gotten to hear you guys, and it's their dream to watch me, but not hear anything that I have to fucking say. So they've just been having a blast all night long, and they're just like, they love it. It's like, okay, so maybe I should just do like more Buster Keaton silent movies and do a whole live stream where I'm just silent.
So Stephanie, since clearly my brother Gabriel had just basically told us that we can talk anything we want to say.
Yes, you can.
His audience can hear.
Yep.
And they can hear shit that he's saying.
They can't hear me.
Let's talk some shit about him. All right. So we're gonna tell you some stories about him from when he was younger, right? Okay. So for all of Gabriel's listeners and podcast consumers, watchers, all of his people. So here's a couple. So Gabriel, when he was younger, actually him and Rene, they used to tumble a lot. I mean, a lot. In fact, we used to call Gabriel Weeble Wobble because he would just do all these tumbles all over the freaking house, right? And and half the time he would do it only in his underwear, right? So
true.
True. I can remember one time when we were, kind of young and stupid. Just do all these tumbles. He would jump. He would climb on top of the dresser, and he would tie a towel on his neck like he was Superman, and jump off of the dresser, land on the floor, tumble, and stand up while he was in his underwear. And so it's not a sight to see now because Gabriel, back then was skinny. And kind of had more of an athletic build. Now he's kind of more like us. He's got the fat dad body. So
yeah, a little bit. That's right.
But
so wait. One of my viewers is asking, were there streaks in those underwear?
Oh God!
That's what kind of viewers I have.
Legs as well.
So there you go, guys. They're having
along the line. This went way off the rails, man.
No kidding.
So if
I'm
you
a
want to
mom
watch,
of 3 boys, and let me tell you, the boy sphincter doesn't develop until age 10.
I 100% agree with you, Stephanie. That is straight on wisdom.
Gabriel was an early. He was a boomer.
I was an early adapter. So, yes, I blossomed. I blossomed very early,
way before 10.
Exactly. So
he was a curious kid.
I was.
He was.
I was one of those kids who so if the back end if the back end was really sweaty. So if I was sweaty back there, I would actually wipe back there and smell. It's gonna stink, but I just want to know what my scent is.
That's
so
how
you would
Gabriel got good at playing sports.
Exactly. Exactly.
He would not wash his hands for 24 hours.
When you're playing basketball, what he would do?
I guess, Stephanie, we are very
on the rim.
Fact that you are a boy mom. I'm sure that nothing is being said here that you probably haven't heard your son say to each other.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's not surprised. This is probably right up the alley.
So Stephanie, as a mom, I'm going to ask you: have your boys ever participated in fart contests?
Oh yeah,
That's
just
another
tonight
one.
at the dinner table.
Perfect. That sounds lovely, right?
Let me tell you, my daughter's
Ambiance.
brought home a boy, so now I got 4 boys, and they all stink.
Ambiance. It's beautiful.
And that's beautiful. Forever.
So another one of my watchers is like, I'm so relieved that we can't hear me tonight. So they're very happy they can hear you. It's a joyful night for them. This is like when when they tore down the wall. So when they tore down the wall in Germany, right? When they broke it down and East and West were united, such a celebration was had. Sort of something's very similar tonight. So they don't know what I'm saying, but you guys do. So you'll react to it and they'll laugh at what you guys say. They have no clue what I'm saying. So there you go. They love it.
Awesome.
Having a blast.
Gabriel, put your shirt back on.
Yeah, we don't need to see all that.
Oh,
Exact-
you're still wearing brown underwear?
This is
Yoda on it.
Hey,
This
bro,
is
a little
perfect.
just for men in that beard wouldn't be a bad thing either. You know, I mean,
No,
it's
that's
great
a-
that you're starting to
That's
show.
breadcrumbs, man.
I don't know.
This is natural, dude. There's nothing, no coloring this.
Whatever,
My
man.
hair is 100% natural.
That's
No
your Ted Cruz.
Okay, so I just went ahead and added myself to the stream, so
Hey,
maybe they
now
can
that
hear
you
me
mention
now.
it, he does kind
now
of
that
have
you
a.
mentioned it, you're exactly right. He sure
He
does.
kind of does have a little Ted Cruz face going on.
Goffo Cruz or whatever his real name is.
So both now maybe they can.
The lesser known
maybe-
Cruz.
Well,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
maybe the panel did mute me. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure all this out, but they're having a great time, and I just added myself to the stream. Let's just know that they might be watching and saying maybe they can hear me now. I don't know, but that's okay. I'm having a good time here tonight, and they're having such a blast with you guys. They're said that you guys are actually pretty funny. And,
Well, why you keep going back to it? I'm not sure.
I don't know why I keep going. It's just one of those things when you're a glutton for punishment. And you just like, it's like when you have something really good in front of you. Like, so you're eating a whole key lime pie, right? And you can only eat half, and you're like, I feel so stuffed. If I eat any more, I'm gonna get sick and throw up. But then you still take 2 more fork
I don't
bites
like
full
key lime
of.
pie. I'm sorry.
That would never happen to me. Key lime pie is the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest dessert ever invented. Fight me, because
Okay,
the worst
folks.
key lime pie is better than any other dessert out there.
Creme brulee would like to talk.
Oh, okay, hold on. Now this is
Wait.
okay. I'm a big fan of the creme brulee. Creme brulee is very high number 2 on my list. But for me, key lime pie is it, man. I'll eat key lime pie before I'll eat chocolate cake.
How do you feel about strawberry shortcake?
Oh God, that's disgusting. I'm not the biggest fan of strawberries.
I know.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh yeah, I gotta thank one of my watchers.
Loaded
Thank you, DJ, for helping me figure out my audio issues. So there you go.
Yeah, plugging the plug into the hole, that works.
That's what she said, right?
Put some hair around it. You would have found it.
Exactly.
Real
That's what.
easy.
That's right.
Oh,
What did Johnny Cochran say? If it don't fit, you must have quit.
oh my Lord. I guarantee you guys, if we'd have done the original format of the podcast that we were thinking,
This
we
is what it
would
would have been.
You guys, I don't think you guys would have got to 52 episodes.
well, no,
No.
we would have been banned. I guarantee you would have been banned from I don't know how many sites.
from,
Number 2.
from YouTube, you guys would have been in the same boat as Trump.
Essentially.
TikTok and Facebook.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm pretty amazed they haven't done it to me yet. So I've actually used licensed music on YouTube. I've used it on Twitch.
We don't. Hey, I don't want to know about the crimes
I
you've
don't wanna know
committed.
about
I'm not
it
an
either.
accessory.
Right there.
So
When
I
the
said,
FBI starts knocking,
wait,
I don't know nothing.
okay. So I've drank a whole bottle. I've drinking a whole bottle of Jameson on a live stream. So they didn't kick me off for that on YouTube and Twitch and LinkedIn and
Well,
Facebook.
I don't think that made you any different from half the people live streaming during COVID.
Apparently, exactly right. So and then you can say all the fun words. You can say shit, hell, damn, fuck, all of them, and they don't do nothing. I mean, they don't like say, "Hey guys, we're gonna like."
Community standard.
Everybody's
That's
saying we should.
because the people who regulate live streams get paid like $0.01 an hour in the Philippines. I mean,
Well, maybe that is true. That is true.
I think you have to have a certain number of subscribers to get on their
well,
radar.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
for anybody
You know, they got other things to worry about, man.
It'll be a
I don't know
while.
if that was a
probably.
shot or what, Stephanie, but it was funny. I'll give it to you.
Okay. Yeah. Now my listeners are mad at the person who helped me find my audio issues. They're like, they should have just like said nothing and kept me muted.
I
But that's
think-
okay.
Jay can take care of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I can. All right, well, guys, this has really been a lot of fun.
Oh wait! Can I ask one more question?
I don't
before
think we
you-
got half of what y'all were trying to get at. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me ask one question before you guys. This is an actual serious question.
Okay.
Now that you've completed 1 year of live streaming, and you've created your own shows, you've done your own editing and everything else. What are some of the things that you've kind of taken out of what you've done, and have you felt that it's kind of changed the way that you communicate with other people now? Now that you guys are doing it on a more regular basis, every week you talk to each other, you open conversations, you bring people like Stephanie and Vaughn, who's not here tonight, into your conversations. Have you felt that those have kind of strengthened in your communication skills whenever you're out there actually talking or communicating with other people?
That's a great question. I can honestly say that for me, it was really just getting a little bit more comfortable with this format. But other than that, not really, because I'm in sales, and we're always selling bullshit anyway, right? So I mean, that's you know, really, to be successful in sales, you got to have a gift for gab, right? And you know, I don't think I've ever had a problem talking. Sometimes I talk too much, and I recognize that. I think the one thing I will say that I learned about this is never let Jay present papers to you to sign without fully reading them. Because if I'd have known I was signing away my digital rights to the Now That You Mentioned It podcast, I never would have done it. But aside from that, no.
What about you, RJ?
You know, I don't know. I think it's been an interesting experiment for us. Well, for me. Obviously, I grew up in the social media age, and I'm very active on a lot of social media, but I don't really necessarily put myself out there a ton. And I think that's really Do you have
an OnlyFans page?
Oh my God, no, I do not.
Well, you said you're on all the social medias, so just wanted to ask.
Okay, all the social medias that are appropriate and
you mean like YouTube or
that would not get me reported to the Texas Real Estate Commission.
There you go.
Let's put it like that.
RedTube?
Oh my God.
I think for me,
he just has a subscription to it, though. That's all. He's not actually on it, but he's got a subscription. I'm
kind of like rolling in the fact that I've always been a talker myself. I am the same way. I've been in sales, restaurant industry for most of my life, and you have to be out there. You have to be a people person. But I think one thing it has done is helped me to make some new friendships in Stephanie, reinforce some old friendships. Vaughn, we actually touched base after not having spoken for a lot of years, probably since high school. And other people. And I think one of the things that I really enjoy about this is, once we do put this out there, I actually have people reach out to me behind the scenes about what we do. And I've had people come up to me and, I've said this in the past, the reason why we got into doing this was because, Gabriel, obviously you started this whole process with your live streaming, and I kind of went to you and said, hey, what are you doing? How are you doing this? What do I need to do in order for us? And now I have people asking me those same questions. Mm-hmm. I've had people come to me and they say, hey, man, I am thinking about starting a podcast. How did you get started? And I think for a lot of people that are interested in doing this, that's the hardest part is how do you get started? How do what did you do? And don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people to thank behind everything that we do. First and foremost, for me, probably for Roland, for RJ, I want to thank my wife Diana for giving me the opportunity to be, to have a day every week to say, hey, look, I'm putting aside my life to do this. Right. Because there's times I come straight home from work and what I'm doing is jumping right online and getting into this and doing this. Thanking my sister-in-law, Christina. She helped us with the design of our logo and things like that. Thank you to Vaughn and to Stephanie and to all the guests that have been out on our podcast throughout the year. Rene, Gabriel, our cousin Sam, everybody that has taken time out of their life to join us. We hope that we've been able to give them an enjoyable experience, and it really has been an eye-opening experience for me, especially on the back end stuff, because RJ, throughout the year, RJ and I have split time with the editing of the podcast. And, times when when I get so burdened down with work and stuff, I go to RJ, I say, hey man, I really need, this. And there's times RJ's like, hey man, we're going out of town. I can't handle it this week. That's fine. No problem. We share the duties. It's even gotten to the point where I've talked to, Roland's daughter, who's, she's getting to her teenagers, but she's very proficient on social media, to say, hey, we need a stronger social media presence. And I just don't have time for it. I know RJ doesn't have time for it. You do. I'll pay you to do it, because
Child labor.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind paying her, because I would like to maybe at some point teach her how to edit the podcast too, so that might be something that I can step away from, because that, to me, that takes up the majority of the time. Doing the podcast, it's an hour every week, hour and 10 minutes, hour and a half of our life. It's the back end stuff that can get you, editing, because you got to sit through it and wade through that whole thing, and then add in the effects that we want to add in the things that we want to, and then getting it, paring it down, uploading it to YouTube. That becomes a process. And it has, become very time consuming. And in a point, like when we said at the very beginning, when we first started this, I had time to do it because of COVID. We didn't have anything else to do. We were locked down. We didn't have, we couldn't go out. We couldn't go to movies. We couldn't go do this. We couldn't hang out with family. There was nothing we could do. So we were home doing a whole lot of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And now that life has come back in some semblance of normalcy, it seems like we're getting back to that point where life has gotten busy again.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I gotta say, I was the same sort of deal with me. I mean, when I started doing this, it was just one of those things that I started right at the beginning before COVID actually started it. So it just accelerated the process for me. And I started doing these things because I had time and didn't have to go do a lot of other things because of COVID, where I was doing these every day. I mean, I did a weekly show Monday through Friday. And that took a lot, and it was just one of those things, like I said, where you actually get to that point where you started enjoying it. And I'm glad that you guys took this on for yourselves, because you kind of learned that, because it was for me, same sort of deal. Somebody helped me out. I got that circle of reciprocity. Somebody else told me how to start doing this. And it was, it was one of those things that helped change a lot of how I approach, what I do now and how I interact with people. So it's been wonderful, to say the least. And I like seeing that you guys are doing that as well, man. It's awesome.
I got a secret that I'm going to share with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I actually know how to do all the editing and stuff like that, but I play dumb so that RJ and Jay will do all the work, and all I got to do is jump on here.
You can barely figure out how to log into your damn Facebook page.
That's Jay's MO. That's always been Jay's MO. I know how to do it, but I'm not gonna do
it. Or disappear. He's always been good at disappearing.
So the running gag, one of the running gags, Stephanie, behind the scenes, is that my computer. I'm using a very old laptop that I bought back in 2008, which at the time it was top of the line. It was a $3,000 computer, but I haven't really upgraded it in throughout all that time.
Well, if it ain't broke.
Right. But the problem is, it's not really geared for this new technology, right? I mean, I used to have a green screen when they updated, when the broadcast software that we use upgraded. My green screen capabilities went away. It kept blanking me out or making me total green. So, and I keep telling these guys that I'm going to get around to replacing this computer, right? But I intentionally don't do it, so I don't have to do any of the damn work. I always have an excuse. My computer, man, it doesn't work. I'm trying. Let me reboot.
That's why he's the older brother, and that's why he's got everything figured out. That's why he's been playing you guys for the last year. So I got to tell you something, man. Hats off,
Master Yoda.
You are exactly. It was you. You got young Anakin over there, and then you got Obi-Wan doing all your work. All right, you're Qui-Gon Jinn. Just sit back going, Yoda.
So I'm like Emperor Palpatine, right? I'm actually using the Force against them, and they don't know it. I'm the Sith
Man,
Lord.
they're not even that. They're lesser Jedis.
Damn. I'm the supporting. What are the supporting cast Jedis?
What was the guy?
You're just a
stormtrooper.
Yeah, you're a stormtrooper. Gosh, you guys are just.
I'm the
You're the ones that got
hit
killed
your head on the door on the way in.
So one of my viewers who actually does social media for a living, she's like 2008, huh? Wow, that's pretty amazing. But you know what? He's using it smartly, so you got to give him that. So thank you, Cher, for
that's why it's like he's sitting in a cave.
I'm going to tell you something. It's funny. I'm going to show you something. This is a very, very simplistic calculator. Okay. And in my office, I have a smaller one that's pink, right? Because when I first got into this business of what I do, real estate, was, I was trying to buy everything on the cheap because, I didn't have a whole lot of money starting off. So that little pink computer, that little pink calculator that I have has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars in my career. And I refuse to get rid of it. I refuse to go get I can go get, a very expensive calculator, but I will only use that little, or this one, which I've had forever, or that little pink one that I bought at Office Max for $1.99 because it was on clearance.
Wow.
Walton, thank you.
Well, we know it was because you like the color pink. So
Cher's one of my viewers said she straight Jedi mind tricked all of you, which is true. And then somebody else said, stay with the pink, stay in the pink. There you go. So my viewers, stay with the pink. So real quick before I get this, go ahead.
I was going to say is that they both say that it didn't really change much for them, but I don't think neither of them would have been on TikTok if it hadn't been for the podcast.
There you go. Right.
No, hold on. Now, it did make me up my social media game. And because I before it was just posting to Twitter every now and then. But having
to use filters for your face.
Well, and even like having watched like Vaughn
they don't make them that good yet, bro. They're still working on
having
that.
Watched like
Snapcam wouldn't help you, bro. Not even Snapcam would help.
Oh Lord, I don't even know what Snapcam is.
Exactly.
It wouldn't help you anyway.
Anyways,
a little bit of adjustment for men might, but otherwise, yeah.
So real quick before I get out of here, I'm gonna tell just real quick thanks to a lot of people who've been joining me this night, guys, who've been dropping bits on LinkedIn, Twitch, guys. Follow my brothers. They are on social media. You can connect with them on Instagram. You can go to their Now That You Mention It page on Instagram. You can connect with them on LinkedIn. I believe Roll has a LinkedIn page. If you're not connected, send him a connection request. Yes, you do.
Go to nowthatyoumentionitit.org and you can catch us there. All of our
you can go there. Yeah, so connect with every single one of them. You can also go on Twitter. You can find them on just about every social media platform as the Now That You Mention It podcast. And check out their podcasting again on it is on Apple Podcasts, right? It's on Apple.
So we are on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast. You can catch our social at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit. But like I said, just go to nowthatyoumentionitit.org, go to our website there, and all of our social, all of our media is there.
So before we close this out, I think we all want to thank Stephanie for
joining us
again. Stephanie, it's always a pleasure to have you. One of the things I admire is that obviously there's a lot of testosterone on this program. You bring the balance over there and give us that fresh perspective. I certainly
balance to the force.
That's right. I want to thank. So let me ask you, Stephanie, real quick before we wrap this up. Have you thought about doing doing a podcast of your own?
No, I like. No. I'm looking for a stud.
Yeah.
I love that answer.
My last couple of days looking for my girl stud.
Oh, for your dog.
Yeah.
The breed.
So I have no time for a podcast when I'm trying to find a stud.
Well, with that interesting observation there, Stephanie, I'm gonna also thank our brothers Renee and Gabriel for popping in. For those of you that Gabriel's still doing his podcast. Gabriel, you want to throw a quick shout out on your details?
Yes, sir. So actually, I am. I've restarted season number 3. I've done two previous seasons. So season 1, I did 137 episodes. Season 2, I did 100 episodes, and I'm starting back up for season 3. We're going to be doing it twice a week, but I will be relaunching here within the next 2 weeks to start going live again. And one of them is going to be pretty controversial. It's going to be a show geared towards talking about sexuality. So I'm actually going to approach a serious subject. I will have experts on. I'm going to have therapists on. Imagine life. What was it? Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. So I have well, anyway, if you guys ever watched it, you need to check it out.
Drug City, homie.
Okay, someone that you might understand, Dr. Ruth Westenheimer. So you know how Dr. Ruth used to come on there and talk about sex and
dildos and stuff. Yeah, great.
Exactly. So, well, we're gonna go into serious topics like
Okay. Well, what I meant, bro, is give everybody your program name, their website.
Okay. So you can just go on. Okay. Just go to LinkedIn is where I have my biggest follow. You can check me out there. It is Gabe Leal on LinkedIn. I'll drop it down in the comments as well. I am just about everywhere on social media. You can check me out on Clubhouse. I do just about anything and everything that has to do with social media. I don't have an OnlyFans yet, but that is in the works. So there you go, folks. You can check that out there. And man, just knock it out. Right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you,
comment,
Stephanie, for joining us. Renee, thank you for joining us. We really enjoyed having you guys on.
We still need to do the brothers podcast.
Yeah, that's in the works. Hey guys, and to all of our listeners and followers, let's help Stephanie out. Let's help her get
help her find
a medium or small standard F1 Labradoodle or golden doodle.
But she just needs to come to Miami. I mean, there's a ton of them out here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So there's your shout.
She's looking for a son. She's looking for a son of a bitch to breed with her. To breed with her dog. So help a woman out. Help a lady out.
There's a good term for it. It's a.
Well, if it's a male dog, it is a son of a bitch. So
that's right. Darn right.
I'm being honest.
Bitch.
So you can check it out, and then there you go, man. Just
what did you say? What is that term from?
What?
F1?
No, the term of son of a bitch.
Oh.
Oh, Lord. Okay, thanks, guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for being on with us. Gabriel, thank you for being on with us. Renee, thank you for being on with us. It's time to close this thing out. Night, guys.
Son of a bitch.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, Jake. Before you still got to do the official close.
Yeah, guys, thank you for everything. Thank you for all the love. Thank you, support. Thank you for a year. It's been a lot of fun. It is what it is. We have a lot of fun doing it. So check us out on YouTube. You can check out our YouTube page. Click the notification. Hit the bell so you get notifications when our new content comes out. Check out our audio only formats on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. Hit the social up at Facebook, on our Instagram, our Reddit page, our Twitter page, our TikTok. Or if you're like me and lazy and, RJ put all that stuff conveniently at nowthatyoumentione.org. You can come check us out there, and you can click that merch button. Go get you some Now That You Mention It merch. And
Safe Moon.
Safe Moon, get some Safe Moon.
I just want to say before you close it out, if you've made it this far through the podcast, I just want to commend you. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, this one was a wild one. It was a lot of fun. And thank you to Jesse P, because we couldn't do it without you.
Right,
man.
Talk to you boys later.
All right, guys.